Sorry guys, someone was at the door. But I think I was saying, you know, I was kind of disassociating all these symptoms and ignoring them essentially. And what I found out later is I've got a couple things going on. I was researching all of this, and I think I told y'all I came up with POTS, and I was like, God, this sounds like every single symptom sounds like POTS dysautonomia. And so I'll show you guys. I ended up ordering a couple of these jugs off Amazon and buying LMNT, which this is the raspberry, okay? But I also, my favorite is the no flavor. So what I started doing was, people with POTS need more sodium. So I started saying, you know what, I'm going to fill this thing up and I'm going to use Gatorade and Propel and add a little water, and I'm going to put these packets in here, and I'm going to see if my salt intake, if I increase my salt, okay, is that going to help? See, look, these have 230 milligrams of sodium each. And then this has 160. And then this has 1,000. So I'm going to put these in here, and then whatever's left over, I'm going to fill the water up to there. So I started doing that for 3-4 weeks. That's when I quit smoking. I also started eating like 6 to 7 small meals a day, because people who have POTS also have IBS issues, which I had been dealing with for years, okay? They also have the syncope issues, which I had been dealing with for years. The sweating, the heat intolerance, all these things that I had been compartmentalizing were one condition, okay? So, I'm sorry, back to the salt. So I started increasing the salt. I started eating healthier. I started doing little small meals. I started avoiding, my endocrinologist actually told me, avoid yeast and avoid gluten. And if you can, try to avoid most dairies. Okay, so I cut all that out. And I started cooking healthier and eating healthier and doing these little small salty meals and little salty snacks and seaweed and all this type of stuff, right? So I'm doing all that, and I'm still going to the doctor because the doctor is running tests. I ended up getting a EKG done. I ended up getting a stress test done on the treadmill, which I almost blacked out. My heart rate was like 191, which is like, if you guys look up a good healthy heart rate for an adult, okay, it's about 80 beats per minute. So you can get up to 80 to 100 depending on if you're doing some type of strenuous activity, okay? Mine was staying at 100 and going up to like 160 when I take a shower, going up to like 165 when I'm, you know, doing things. That is extremely high, okay? So I started writing all these things down. Remember, the doctor wanted me to keep a notebook, right? So I started writing down everything I was eating, all the activities. In here I've got like when I'm sitting, when I'm elevating my legs, when I quit drinking alcohol, when I quit smoking, when I, like, all these different things that I was doing, okay? And so I pretty much documented, I mean, I've got my life in here. And I went back to the doctor, and he's like, you know, what's the update on anything? You know, we're running the test. That's when he gave me the heart monitor for 2 days. Oh my God. And that told him immediately, you know, you've got SVT, which is supraventricular tachycardia, okay? It's when not only does your heart beat too fast, but you are having arrhythmias. Your heart's not beating properly, okay? So that was the pain that I'd been having for years, and that fluttering that I'd been having, that was That's SVT, okay? Maybe you've got different symptoms than I do, but I just recently was diagnosed with SVT and POTS dysautonomia, which I had a feeling that I had POTS for so long, I just never had associated all the symptoms together. So I joined a Facebook group, and I started talking to other people who had POTS, and I started realizing, holy moly, this is serious, you know. So I got the compression socks. They want you to wear compression garments to help the blood flow. Pretty much my heart pumps blood out, and when I'm standing in an upright position, or doing something like exerting myself, there's not enough force to bring the blood back up from my feet to my heart. So therefore, my head gets really foggy. That's where the syncope comes in, okay? The blood is not getting back to my brain properly. Same thing with other areas of my body. When I eat, or when anyone eats, your body takes a certain amount of blood and goes directly to your digestive system to digest, okay? Which means people with POTS, when their body is digesting food, we feel sick. And when I say sick, your stomach might hurt. You might get the IBS, extra gas. It kind of makes you just want to like lay down, okay? Your blood doesn't flow properly. So at this time, I was still working my office job, and I started trying to change some things. Like I put a thing under my desk to kind of elevate my legs. I would try to walk around the building on lunch, just so that I wasn't so lethargic and fatigued. I was eating the little meals. But then I started noticing that driving my car was becoming a problem. So I am on the way to work for the first time in like 2 days, because I was having a bunch of doctor's appointments. And I'm wearing this because when I drive, it makes me feel like I'm going to faint. My hands are sweating. I don't know, you may not be able to see it, but my feet are freezing and they're soaking wet. Turn this down. So what I do is I put the air on cold, even though it's 50 outside and my body's freezing. I put the air on cold or cool, and then put it on my feet so that it can dry them, but it makes them freezing. So, yeah. I'll check my levels while I'm driving just to see if I'm all right. And it's really like the shortness of breath while I'm driving. Also, like I have a headache right now, like behind my eyes. So let's see what it says. I'm sitting, so it shouldn't be bad. Okay. It's about, we're going up. Okay, we're good. We're right at 88, 90. So I'm okay. I just feel a little when I drive, but my drive to work is maybe like, on a good day, it's like 15 minutes, but with traffic, it may be like 30 or 40, maybe 30. So I'll feel better after I get to work and rest for a minute. When I first get to work, my pulse is out of control. So I just have to like take it slow, and I bring lots of snacks and food. And if I was sitting up in the car driving for more than about 15 minutes, the syncope would come on. And I mean like on the highway, okay? So not safe, not okay. That's when the doctor really got concerned. You know, he's like, okay, you got this SVT, and we're kind of thinking you got POTS. And, you know, we don't really, we want to make sure that you don't have anything else going on. So they took, you know, bunch of blood. All my levels were good. Of course, my electrolytes are great because I'm drinking a gallon of them a day. And so he started me on, I'd say, like 3-4 weeks ago, he started me on propranolol. Where is it at? This is the backpack that I carry. I've got a bunch of backpacks, but I'm a Nike head and I love to match. So This is the thing that I use to show my oxygen and my pulse. Okay, got that from Amazon. This is what I keep my little packets in here for. I also keep my medications in here. For people who have POTS who get overheated, I keep these crackable ice packs in my bag. Just recently, I tried to take the kids to a restaurant. They had the heat on, okay? I went into syncope, and my two oldest kids were like trying to take care of me and get me out of there. So it is kind of scary. It can send you into a panic, which heightens your heart rate even more. So you have to kind of like learn how to control that a little bit. I think my blood pressure machine is upstairs. But yeah, I also keep, I have a portable EKG, which I got off Amazon as well, and I'll show you guys. It's called Cardia. And it's actually got an app that you can put on your phone, and it can send your EKGs directly to your doctor. Okay, so this is awesome right here. A lot of times with POTS, you're going to get intermittent symptoms. So when you go to the doctor, you might be feeling good one day, and the doctor's going to go, oh, look, there's nothing wrong with you, you know, but that's because they're intermittent. They can come and go. Especially if women, if you're on your cycle, oh my gosh, it gets so much worse, at least for me. Or if you're sick, symptoms get extremely strong. But yes, so my stomach medicine I've been taking is Dexalant. I've tried omeprazole, that didn't work. I tried Nexium, that didn't work. Dexalant was the only thing that took away the acid. I've got all type of goodies in here. I keep all type of stuff in here, but propranolol, I believe, is the name of the medication I'm on now. And at first they started me off 10 milligrams twice a day. It did take the tachycardia symptoms away from me. My heart wasn't fluttering as much. It wasn't beating as hard. I definitely didn't get the pain in here anymore. Those things were, they were doing pretty good. And then I went back a few weeks ago, after I had the syncope issue at the restaurant with my kids, which totally freaked me out. I had to get up out of there. Like, we didn't even get to finish eating our food. And I was like asking the waitress, please go ahead and give me the check. I'm going to pay now. You can box up our food. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You know, my son had ran out to the car to get my Gatorade bottle. Which would be this, because I try not to carry this thing everywhere, at least not inside. It was in the car. So he went and did that. My daughter's like fanning me off because they can see the symptoms coming. Like my two oldest, I do have a youngest son, but he's 6, and you know, I don't expect him to notice those things, but my two oldest kids are amazing, to say the least. Sorry guys, it's kind of sucks, but they know when something's wrong with me, and they try to help me fix it. So I'm so thankful for them. They love their mom so much. They're everything to me. But we were at the restaurant, and they noticed that I was uncomfortable. I didn't say anything. I try not to talk about it because it can kind of heighten the symptoms. But they noticed right away. And they weren't upset that we had to leave. You know, they wanted to get up out of there so that way, you know, I could come back to my normal self. But another symptom I was going to tell you guys about is the temperature changes in your body. So I was overheating in the restaurant because they had the heat on. As soon as we got outside, it was cooler. The air was blowing. So I started to come back to normal. But once we got in the car, I got totally freezing. I mean, like my body is shaking by itself. My teeth are chattering. I was freezing cold. And that does happen when I have an episode where my heart goes up really high and I'm overheated and then I come down and crash. My temperature will change like that. And so after that episode, we got home and my son's like, Mommy, you need to get in the bed. You know, you need some rest. So for about 2 days, I was just dead feeling. Like, I'm assuming because my body had such a high surge with my pulse. I got in the POTS group on Facebook and I was like, hey guys, who else is heat sensitive? Because I just can't do it anymore. Like, I'm terrified, and to be so independent and have so many responsibilities all by yourself, the fear alone can cause panic. Okay, I'm just gonna let you guys know, like, it can cause panic. So one of the guys in the group actually suggested, it was a woman and a man, this is a 360 fan. I know it looks like little headphones. They come in a million different colors. If they have had red, I would have got red because that's my favorite color. But they told me that when you're having one of those heat episodes, put this on your neck and the ice pack, okay? It will bring you out of that. So I'm gonna show you guys how this works. Because now I carry it in my backpack, okay? So there's a little button over here. There's a charger, a little port to charge. You got setting 1, which is like, it's cool. Setting 2 is like, great. Setting 3 is like if you're full on overheating. This right here calms you down. Brings you all the way down. So, started packing this little baby in my bag. So that way, if I have a situation, I can kind of slow it down some. But with that being said, there are so many wonderful people in the group that have made me not feel alone. Because I look so healthy and I look young, and I'm, you know, a lot of people and my family too is like, you know, there's nothing wrong with you. Don't think like that, you know, woo, woo, woo. And I don't want sympathy from anybody. I'm a great mother. I'm a strong woman. Like I said, I do mostly everything by myself or with the help of one of my older kids. You know, I used to be very active, and it's just extremely scary when no one believes you and doesn't know what's going on with you, you know? So with all those changes and me going back to the doctor, I was still having some issues. So just recently, my doctor actually, he took my dosage and he upped it some. So instead of 10 milligrams 2 times a day, I'm doing a little bit more on the milligrams 3 times a day. So we're trying that out now. That's why I'm still at home. He actually gave me like a month off. So I'm going to start focusing on some of these vlogs with you guys. If you guys have questions, be sure to, you know, click the link, subscribe. I know I'm a DIY channel. I am going to get back to some of that. I just recently ordered some in-home gym equipment. I can't do like all the special stuff because I get so out of breath quickly. But one of the things about POTS is trying to build your stamina back up very, very slowly. Okay. Very, very slowly. Like, honestly, I want to go out and run 2 miles because I used to be a track star. I can't do that. Okay. That will put me out. I will be done for days. I might faint like that. I'm just not going to do that. So they started me off with the walking, but I just recently ordered an exercise bike and some mats and stuff for my garage. So, and it's an exercise bike that you sit. There is a seat and your legs go out, not, you know, bicycle seat up, legs go down. You don't want the blood pooling in your legs because that's part of the reason why I'm wearing compression clothes. You don't want the blood pooling. So I'm going to try that out while I'm taking this little medical leave from work. Hopefully a lot of this can get me back to normal. I know a lot of my friends, they're like, girl, where have you been? What are you doing? And so I just wanted to kind of bring awareness to some of these conditions that a lot of people aren't familiar with. Like, there's a lot of doctors that aren't familiar with this. And so I would definitely recommend a cardiologist. They've got electrocardiologists, I believe it's called, that work on the nervous system and stuff like that. If these things don't do what they're needing to do for me, then that's probably the next step. I'm going to have to be sent to a specialist. Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. I eat eggs and spinach every morning, and that's just what's happening after I take my medicine. But one thing that my father suggested, which we haven't always got along or had the best relationship. I'll leave it at that. I love the man to death. He was raised differently, and that is pretty much like my only parent. So he suggested therapy. And like, remember I told you guys before, I've had therapists. I had a lot of childhood traumas and a lot of in my childhood. I can do another video on that if y'all are interested. But I've had therapists. I've had good therapists. I've had bad therapists. I've had one great therapist, but she only worked at the inpatient mental facility. And when I left there, not inpatient, but just if you're inpatient or outpatient, she works there and she can take care of you. But because I left outpatient treatment and I was discharged and, you know, I was doing so good, she could no longer be my therapist. So after that, I kind of gave up on therapy. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I hate therapists because half of them are trash. But, you know, that's in any profession. You got good doctors, you got bad doctors. You got doctors that care, doctors that pay attention, and doctors that don't give a damn. They just want to write you a script and get their money and get it out of there, okay? So he suggested therapy, which I'm actually going to work on that today, but not for a mental illness. It's merely like, Krista, you have 3 kids, you've got this huge load, you've got all these responsibilities, and you're doing it by yourself, and you don't talk to anybody. You know, you don't, I'm alone like 95% of the time, unless my kids are with me. Like, I don't like associating with strangers. I have some friends that I've known most of my life, and other than that, I like to say I'm a friendly, nice person, but I'm not into, like, I have trust issues, okay? So even with friends, homegirls, like anything like that, like I've been through so much that, yeah, I just kind of stick to myself. So he was like, you know, I really think that a transitional therapist would help you, you know, navigate yourself through a lot of these challenges that a lot of people can't relate to that are around me, like my family members and stuff like that. Some of them can't relate, and some of them I'm just not, I don't even deal with. I don't talk to. My birth mother, I totally do not talk to. That could be a whole video in itself. But we do not have a relationship, and that is by choice. And I believe that it is healthier for me to not have a relationship with her. And so half of me, especially as a woman, I don't know those genetics, and I don't know those issues, and I don't have someone to say, hey, Mom, you know, what did you deal with? Because I'm dealing with this. And I don't have that, okay? So my dad did suggest the therapy, and I'm going to take him up on his offer. And for those of you guys out there that are like, oh my gosh, therapy, and, you know, I don't want to be labeled crazy. And let me just tell you something. Firsthand experience, stop listening or caring about what the world has to say. Because a lot of people walk around and they look normal and they act normal and they got a lot of shit going on inside, okay? So if you need therapy, or if you feel like you're alone, or if you feel like, you know, committing suicide, or for any of those things, like, please get help. No one's going to think you're crazy for getting help. The therapist damn sure isn't going to think that you're crazy. They want to help. And remember, like I said, if you don't like a therapist, there's a million other therapists. Like, if you're a woman and you want a female therapist because you feel like they can relate more, then try that out. You know, in these day and age, you can get on the phone and talk to a therapist. Some offices require you to do in-person visits, or at least a couple in-persons, but they'll even do therapy over the phone, okay? So with that being said, I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little information on why I've been unavailable. I am going to have my exercise bike coming soon, and I will record. I don't know if I'm going to set it up in the garage yet or in the living room. I've got 2 living rooms, so I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I might turned one of the living rooms into a workout area because of the overheating. One of my best friends, Abriana, she was like, you know, you may not want to put that in the garage because you overheat and whoop-de-whoop-de-woo. And so I was like, you know what? I might think about that. But I'll figure it out. If I do have to do it in the garage, I got some fans coming too. So speaking of Abriana, I have been wearing this shirt the entire video. And no, this is not a paid promo. This is just me loving on my friend, okay? Snatched by Savia. She does have a waxing business. I will put her Instagram information in the description so that if you guys are in Houston, you guys can check her out because she is freaking awesome and she will get you right, ladies and gentlemen, okay? But yep, so that concludes this video, and I just want to thank you guys so much for being open-minded and just kind of like listening to some of the things that I've had going on. It's really not, to be honest with you guys, it's not easy for me to express this kind of stuff. I normally just keep it to myself and keep it chugging, but I have had a lot of people tell me like, girl, you need to get the information out there because a lot of people are unfamiliar about this. You know, they're wondering what's going on, and instead of just explaining it to everybody one by one, you guys can take some information from this video and, you know, even if you don't have POTS, you might have a friend that might have some of these symptoms, and it may not be POTS related. It could be panic disorder. It could be anxiety. It could be all these different things. But, you know, it's worth getting checked out, especially if you have a heart condition, which is SVT, or they've got a million different, not a million, I'm exaggerating. They've got multiple different heart diseases, heart syndromes, arrhythmias, irregular, you know, all these different things that if you're experiencing symptoms, please don't ignore them, okay? Go see a doctor, try to get you some help, some therapy if you're doing it alone. These are things that do not make you weak. They do not make you less of a person. It doesn't mean that you know, you're a bad person. A lot of this stuff is genetic, okay? So I just want to let you guys know that for now, I am doing a little bit better. I am still staying at home, and I'm on a strict regimen as far as like not driving much and things like that. So if you guys have any questions, make sure to put them in the comments below. You can always follow me on Instagram. I've got the Classic Custom Organization Instagram. And then I've also got Miss_Krista_, which is my personal. So you guys can always message me there. But there will be more videos to come. And I just really appreciate you guys for taking the time to listen to me and all the love and support. Thank you guys so much.